in my domain, got the whole crowd screaming out our name. It's a blowout, it's a hurricane, it's over before you know it. While you shaking, we're a dynasty in the making. We're the royalty, now we're breaking down the enemy. Move over for the soldiers. Take a swing, I can take a hit. If we die, it's fine, we live for this. It's all for this. We're gonna stand on top with our hands in the sky. Gonna raise our cup to the stadium lights. For the glory, for the glory. We celebrate with the city tonight. Hear the hometown cheer, it's the ultimate high. For the glory, we do it for the glory.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome here as we're at the track Too Tough to Tame, the Lady in Black Darlington Raceway, getting you set for race number 12 of the season here, season 2 of the NNSCRA TaxSlayer Truck Series, continuing on our chase towards the chase for the championship. And it's time to go truck racing here tonight for 37 laps of racing. Now already, up to this point, we're starting to see drivers making their way into positions to try to get into one of those very few 8 spots in this season's chase, especially for this series where it's very limited number of spots available for drivers to be able to compete for the championship. Nick Johnson has definitely made his presence felt, winning the last race of the first half of the regular season at Richmond and then following up with a win at the first race of the second half of the regular season here a couple weeks ago at Charlotte. We've also got a driver that's now popped his name up into the list last week, rookie Jake Smith going to victory lane. So it's still anybody's guess on who's going to make it into those 8 available positions, and we might see another driver add their name into the list here tonight. Tony Green lines up on the pole position, looking for his first win since the very first TaxSlayer Truck Series race, season 1 at Daytona, trying to get Kyle Busch Motorsports their second win of the season as well. Alongside of him, though, Nathan Stapleton trying to do maybe 2 things here today. Number 1, he's trying to get his second win of the season, but number 2, Stapleton also trying to take back the points lead. Coming into tonight's race, the top 5 in the point stands are separated by only 9 points. So the odds of there being a new points leader heading into our next truck race are very, very high. Let's go down trackside, get those most famous words in motorsports.
Drivers, start your engines!
Command given. And the Chevy Silverado pace car will lead them off of pit road, and as he does that, it's time to give you your top 10 in the point standings coming into tonight's race, presented by Golden Corral. As mentioned, the points are very, very close. Angel Oliveira is still the points leader, but only holds it by 1 point over Patrick Curtis, also only 1 point over Nathan Stapleton. Only 4 points out is Nick Johnson in 4th place. 9 points out is the pole sitter Tony Green in 5th. Oriel Pollard, he's 6th in the points. He's only 11 points out of the points lead, so he's in the hunt for maybe being atop the leaderboard when we leave here tonight. So only 12 points back is 7th in the points. That's Henry Williams. We haven't really talked much about the 62 this year. Maybe we better start. H Garcia, our Daytona winner, is 8th in the points, 9th in the standings. Sky Commons, and completing the top 10 in the points is J Lagasee. We'll give you who came into this race in those 8 playoff spots at this point in time in just a moment. But Tony Green and Nathan Stapleton are coming out of turn 4, and they'll lead this 42 truck field down to the start-finish line. It's time to go racing at one of the oldest tracks in the circuit at Darlington. Green flag is in the air. Let's roll. Who's going to leave with a trophy? Who's going to leave with a famed Darlington stripe? See those drivers up there on the high side having to kind of be very careful, kind of tiptoe their way around. If they push it too hard, they're going to go up there into that wall, and that wall kind of sucks you in. It's very hard to get off of it once you're in it. Looks like we're going to get the first lap completed under green. Tony Green going to lead that lap. Michael Haas in the 28 now moves to second. Toyota's 1, 2, maybe 3 as now Ryan Acosta looks to get the podium position away from Nathan Stapleton. And he will move on by for that position. Now coming into this race, the 8 drivers that currently find themselves sitting in playoff positions included 2-time winners Oriel Pollard and Nick Johnson. And right now, 1-time winners that also fill in those remaining 6 spots are Patrick Curtis, Nathan Stapleton, H Garcia, Sky Commons, Jake Smith. And right now, the final spot is held by Marty Czekala, who comes into this race 14th in the point standings. Tony Green out in front here. We mentioned he comes into this race 5th in the points. If he goes to victory lane, that would move him in and knock Czekala out. Top 3 single file. They're making some moves further back there. That was former Hershey's Cup Series champion Matt Haas in the 8 making a move. I think that was for 7th place on Melody Baker. And we've got one driver up here that's the lone man out for his team that hasn't been to victory lane. Last week we saw Jake Smith go to victory lane. He, along with Sky Commons, have won for Cody Smart Motorsports. There's Isaac Nicholls, former playoff driver from last season, running in the 6th position. He's the only driver out of that team that has not yet gone to victory lane. He's up here in the top 10 with a chance. Melody Baker has been on a bit of a skid as of late, running right behind him there in the 3. Baker was up inside the top 10 in the points heading into last week's race and had a very poor performance. Finds herself 12th in the standings coming into tonight's event. There you see behind her is the 8 of Matt Haas. And now Haas going to try and make the move again on Melody Baker for 7th place. Very easily going to make the move. You can see that high side has absolutely no run into the corner there going into turn 1. Both PJ Williams and Melody Baker were caught there and could not in any way hang with the drivers on the inside line. Back up towards the front. It's now a 4-truck group as Nathan Stapleton has shaken Isaac Nicholls and now is up here with the top 3. You look in this group and Nathan Stapleton, he's gone to victory lane this season already for William Brock Motorsports. Tony Green's teammate H Garcia went to victory lane at Daytona. Ryan Acosta's teammate Nick Johnson's been to victory lane twice this year. And then you look at the 28 of Michael Haas, and Haas Racing hasn't had a win yet this season. Michael Haas, a former driver in the Pizza Hut X Series. Drove, I believe, it was 2 full-time seasons in the number 19 for Joe Gibbs Racing before moving over here with his brother to a 2-car team for Haas Racing. And now Michael's going to look for the lead. Oh, he was there, but he couldn't quite get to the left rear quarter panel of Tony Green there in 3 and 4. Maybe he'll try again in 1 and 2. Stapleton now looking to the inside of Ryan Acosta. And this track is very similar to a restrictor plate in one sense. A restrictor plate track, you get kicked up to that high side, it's very difficult to find your way back down to the bottom. It's almost kind of like a Martinsville. When you get kicked up to that high side, everybody snakes on by you on that inside line. You have to find a slot back into that inside line. And you can see Ryan Acosta was 3rd. He's now all the way back to 6th. And in danger of losing much more as Cervantes is to the inside of him. Then probably Paul Minnick will fill that hole, followed by Michael Whitman, J Lagasee. It's going to take a little bit of time for that 27 to get back down to the inside line. So handling and grip is certainly a big factor here at Darlington. And Nathan Stapleton's a man on a mission. He got by Ryan Acosta for 3rd, now trying to work his way by Michael Haas for 2nd. Looks like Ryan Acosta did find a place in line in the 10th position, but it looks like he may have also lost touch with the top 9. Stapleton continuing to stay to the inside of Michael Haas. That was one of the few times I've actually seen the outside line be able to hold with the inside line. Maybe, just maybe, as these drivers continue to run that higher groove, they're able to lay down more rubber up there. It's allowing for that outside line to get a little bit more grip and allowing it to be able to, if not hold off, at least hang for a little bit with that inside line. And right now, out in front, Tony Green, though, is loving the fact that this battling is going on for 2nd place. Every lap that they battle for second is one less lap he has to look in his mirror and try blocking any advances on his race lead. As we mentioned, Tony Green was the inaugural winner in the TaxSlayer Truck Series back in Season 1, taking the checkers at Daytona. He has not won a truck race since then. But obviously coming to this race 5th in the point standings, 3 top 5s, 4 top 10s. Average finish of around 15th place. It's not like he hasn't been consistent. Just has to close the deal. Battle for 3rd, Isaac Nicholls to the inside of Michael Haas. Michael's older brother right behind him there, Matt Haas in the 8. He's now under fire from H Cervantes. And now Nicholls has lost touch with the top 2. It's now Tony Green, Nathan Stapleton to battle it out here at the front of the field. Now, I'm not 100% certain what the fuel window is for these guys. I don't know if they are going to actually have to make green flag pit stops during the course of this 37-lap race. But the way things are going, with the way that they're racing each other, it does not look like we're going to end up seeing the caution flag wave, at least very slim chance of that, based on the fact that now things have gotten rather single file, rather spread out, and any double wide formation racing we've seen, they've been very courteous of each other, giving each other some pretty amiable room. A couple of drivers have now popped up into the top 5. H Cervantes there, that Nissan Titan in the 4th position. A great run for a driver who's really looking to get out of the cellar of the point standings. 39th in points coming to this race. Only 1 top 10 in his first 11 starts of the season. Not exactly what he's been looking for, but running very solidly now in that 4th spot. And right behind him, Michael Whitman there in that 53. 17th in the point stands. At one point, Michael was up knocking on the door to get into the top 10 in points. Hit a bit of a slump around the end of the first half of the regular season, but looking very strong right now in that ride out of Climber Tech Motorsports. Another driver that comes into this race in the top 10 in the points. How about J Lagasee, 10th in the standings. Still looking for his first top 5 of the season. He has 3 top 10s, but right now slotted into the 7th position, looking very strong in that truck out of Fire Ice Racing. Matt Haas right behind him. As a matter of fact, it's a Haas sandwich that J Lagasee finds him in. Michael ahead of him, Matt behind him. A lot of people were looking at Matt Haas to really make a statement down here in the Truck Series, being a former Hershey's Cup Series champion, but hasn't exactly gone that way for him. He has been on a bit of a good streak as of late in terms of his finishes. He was down, way down in the point standings, now up to 33rd in points, but certainly continuing to try and climb his way through the standings. And I mean, maybe it just took a little bit of time for him to find his footing here in the series. A lot of drivers, they come into a series and they take to it like a duck takes to water, but some drivers have to kind of relearn. The configuration of driving a TaxSlayer truck is much different than driving a Hershey's Cup Series car. Isaac Nicholls had thoughts for 2nd place, but you saw Nathan Stapleton was able to get the run on the high side off turn 4 and hold off the advances of the Cooper Standard Ford F-Series. Now look right there, he tried again, but Stapleton says nope. Moved down about a half groove, blocked any chance that Nicholls had to get to the inside of Stapleton's left rear quarter panel. So you're starting to see now that the blocking is starting to pick up here with drivers defending their positions, realizing if they get kicked up to that high side, they may not just lose one spot, they could lose several spots. And as we get down to crunch time here, at this portion of the regular season, drivers realizing every position, every point could be very valuable in the outcome of whether they're going to make it into the playoffs when the checkered flag waves at M&M Superspeedway. Tony Green, though, right now, I think he's definitely got his sights set on the playoffs. Not only has he dominated out in front in this race, but he's not really let anybody get to his back bumper in the last 5 laps or so. You can see there's about maybe a car length and a half between himself and Nathan Stapleton, and now that is going to increase even more as Isaac Nicholls tries again to the inside line for 2nd place on Stapleton. Not able to make the move this time, and now they're starting to peek out of line there. Drivers trying to peek into the top 5. Whitman in the 53, Haas in the 28. And every time that Nicholls puts pressure on the 92 of Stapleton for second, that kind of takes away Stapleton's mentality of focusing on Tony Green for the race lead. How about this top four, though? We've got 4 different manufacturers represented there. The Toyota of Tony Green, the Chevy of Stapleton, the Ford of Nicholls, and the Nissan of Ricky Cervantes. So all 4 manufacturers having a good run right now, at least at the front of the field. Highest running Dodge is H Sanchez, currently in the 9th position. Tony Green, though, last year drove the number 21 Red Bull Chevy Silverado for Dougie Shear's team. My memory escapes me as to what that team was actually called last year. Can't think of it. But then decided to make the move over here to Kyle Busch Motorsports. Already that team's been to victory lane, season opener at Daytona. Tony Green trying to become the second driver out of that team, and again the battle is on for second. I think this time Nicholls may have him. He at least is going to be able to draw alongside going down here into 1 and 2, I think. I don't think Stapleton's going to clear him. Actually, he does. Wow. That surprised me. I thought if Nicholls could at least be door to door to Nathan Stapleton coming off turn 4, he would have enough momentum off the corner to still be to the inside, at least to the left rear quarter panel of Stapleton going into turn 1. But Stapleton's got a very strong machine on that top side off the exit of the corner. That battling just inside the top 10 here. Michael Whitman got kicked out of line. He's faded back now to the 10th position. H Sanchez moves up to 8th. And how about Paul Minnick? Good run for the 21 car here tonight as he's currently in the 9th spot. Minnick 13th in the points. He's been very consistent this year. H Sanchez just ahead of him, 18th in the points. A couple of drivers we haven't really seen up at the front. Points leader Angel Alvera, second in the standings Patrick Curtis, and how about the guy that's got 2 wins this year, Nick Johnson in the 41? Where are these guys all situated? There's Alvera. Last time by scored in the 32nd position. Patrick Curtis way back here with Preston Plord in 39th. Alex Hawkins currently is in 41st, and I think that means we have a driver out of the race, and that is Nick Johnson. Engine problems plagued 2-time winner and defending champion Nick Johnson. He'll finish 42nd here tonight. Tough break for the driver out of Thorsport. Coming into this race in his last 3 starts with 2 trips to victory lane, 4th in the point standings. That'll certainly hit him hard in the points going into our next truck race at Arizona, but the fact he has 2 wins certainly helps him out with a little consolation, because he's just got to finish in the top 30 in the point standings. And I mean, if he's, let's say, 28th in points by the time the season comes to an end, the regular season comes to an end, he leapfrogs all drivers that have 1 win. It's one of these series with so few available spots in the playoffs where multiple wins are almost a necessity to guarantee yourself a spot in the playoffs. Right now, Tony Green would be glad for just 1 win this season, and he's got only 6 more laps when he hits the line until he's able to do it. He's looking for his 2nd win of his career and 1st of this season. Trying to remember if Tony Green, I don't think, at least to my knowledge, Tony Green's only run in the TaxSlayer Truck Series. I don't think he's previously run at all in Hershey's Cup Series or Pizza X Series action, and we've got pit stops here in the closing stages. I said I didn't know what the fuel window was. We've just gotten an idea. With about 5 laps to go, Tony Green is on pit lane, and all of a sudden this race has turned into a fuel strategy race, and now the Haas brothers are out in front 1-2, Michael leading Matt. Paul Minnick also stayed out, Brandon Joy, Heather Gallant I should say, Melody Baker, Patrick Smith, Tyler Deaver, along with last week's winner Jake Smith, Ryan Brommer. They all stayed out, and now they're coming to pit road this time. So now it comes down to the pit crews as to who's going to win this race. It's the money stop here at Darlington. Looks like E Barber also stayed out under that yellow. Gas and go for last week's winner Jake Smith. Looks like that might be the order of the day for everyone here on pit lane. Got the 8 of Matt Haas. He's down and away. Michael Haas on pit road, pulls into the attention of his crew. Gonna get that thing full as they can of fuel to get him to the end, and he's not gonna win the battle off pit road. His older brother Matt Haas beats him off of pit road, but now the question is, where is the driver that was the leader when these pit stops began? The 4 of Tony Green, there he is. J Lagasee right behind him. Is Tony Green gonna be able to beat the 8 off pit lane? Yes, he is. Nathan Stapleton either had a slow pit stop or J Lagasee's team was on the ball. The 0-1 is now moved to second place. The lead, I believe, will cycle back around to Tony Green, but he's got company now in the form of that Titanic Chevrolet. Green the leader, Lagasee now up to second. Matt Haas slots in third. Stapleton falls back to fourth. Michael Haas in fifth. Right now, the rest of the scoring at the top 10 is H Nicholls, H Gallant, R Cervantes, H Sanchez, and P Minnick. So a couple of drivers really capitalized on that pit stop. J Lagasee now in second, and H Gallant now up in 7th place. At the line, it's only 2 more laps to go. Look at Lagasee all over the back bumper of Tony Green. Now Matt Haas up in the mix as well. These drivers now realizing it's go time. The moves they make could be for the win. Tony Green's going to be looking out his mirror a whole lot more than out of his windshield here, I guarantee you. He's been the strongest truck of the evening. Can he do it for 4 more corners? White flag in the air, 1 more lap to go. Green, Lagasee, Haas makes the move for second. Looks like he's going to get the spot going through 1 and 2. Now he sets his sights on Tony Green. Can he get enough of a run down the back straightaway? He's closing. Here he comes. He's looking to the inside. He's there. Can they get the run off turn 4? It's Green. Haas, Green got tight off the corner. Haas looks to clear. Green battles back on the high side. Drag race to the line. Who got it? Who got it? It was Tony Green. A photo finish here at Darlington. Tony Green just barely hangs on to get the win here tonight at Darlington Raceway over Matt Haas. Oh my goodness, the VFW Sports Clips Help a Hero 200 goes to Tony Green, but he barely got it. He almost lost it in the closing stages. Who would have thought that this race would have come down to a green flag pit stop and a photo finish? That was amazing. You don't think of Darlington as a photo finish track very often, but oh my word. Now the unofficial scoring says 1/100th. We're gonna have to wait and see what the official scoring is here in just a moment. Matt Haas so close to denying Tony Green, but Green got that run on the high side off turn 4 on exit, and I think that was what allowed him to be able to beat Matt Haas to the line. If he had had maybe 100 feet less to the start finish line, I think it would have been Matt Haas. 9 1/1000ths of a second. That's the official word. Oh my goodness. Let's go back, see if we can get a camera angle to see just how close that looked visually, because we were seeing the rear deck lid of the trucks going to the start-finish line, which made it very difficult to figure out who actually had won the race, and we had to rely on the telemetry scoring. So here they are coming down to the line, and there you see, right there, you can see that momentum that the Ford truck got off the corner, comes down here right to the start-finish line. Now let's see if we can get a good camera angle of this. Oh, there we go. Look at that. Wow. Oh my goodness, what a battle there at the end. Matt Haas so close. Tony Green denies him. Green gets his first win of the season, second win of his TaxSlayer Truck Series career, and may have consequently gotten himself a spot in the playoffs. Who knows? He came in 5th in the points. And I think with this as well, let's see, he was 8 points behind Nathan Stapleton. Okay, so I don't know if he'll necessarily take the points lead going to next week. That may be Nathan Stapleton, but it'll be very close for the points lead between himself and the 92 going into Arizona. That I have no doubt. Matt Haas gets rookie of the race, though. He'll finish second. Lagasee there in third. He got a good view of that photo finish. Stapleton's going to have to settle for fourth. He lost 2 spots during that round of green flag pit stops, and Matt Haas will bring it home in fifth. Great run for the Haas racing drivers here tonight, finishing both in the top 5. I Nicholls brings it home there in sixth. H Gallant in seventh. H Cervantes was eighth. H Sanchez ninth. Completing your top 10 was P Minnick. How about Jake Moss? We never talked about him tonight. He comes away just outside of the top 10 in 11th. Wyatt Walker, great run for him in 12th. M Whitman faded back to 13th, 14th with R Brommer. And last week's winner, Jake Smith, brought it home in the 15th position. The rest of your top 20 were Sky Commons, Tyler Deaver, E Barber, Patrick Smith, and Caitlin Tsang. As you look on down through the remainder of the finishing results here tonight, and a couple of drivers that kind of popped out at me that kind of faded back there at the end of this race. R Acosta fell back to 27th place. We saw him up towards the front. And, of course, some drivers that came in this race running really well in the points. The top 3 of the top 4 in the point standings coming into this race, finishing way back in the running order. The former points leader, Angel Alvera, 36th. Patrick Curtis, who came in second in points, 41st. And, of course, Nick Johnson, 2-time winner, who came in fourth in the standings, finishes the only car out of the race due to a mechanical issue. But that's going to do it here tonight from Darlington. What a race, what a finish, as Tony Green picks up his first win of the season. Hope you guys enjoyed tonight's race from Darlington. If you did, be sure to give us a like, subscribe, become part of the crew today. We've shown you full picture results, these are your rookie points and your overall points heading into next week's race. As I stated, all 3 series will be back in force at Arizona Speedway. That track is always a fuel strategy race usually as well, so we'll have to see if that's going to play a factor into who else may put themselves into the hunt for a spot in the playoffs. Till then, though, I've been Seth Cole. You've been watching a production of the NNSCRA Offline Racing at its best. Tune in for the Bojangles Southern 500, our Hershey's Cup Series race. That's coming up next here on the NNSCRA Sports Channel. Offline Racing at its best.